master and things like that?
Yeah, so about the candidate master, I actually have a norm for it. I got from Africa Schools, but I need to reach 2,000 rating points, yeah? So currently, thanks to final phase, I'll be reaching 1,800. So I think it's not quite there, but it's good. It's good.
The Africa Schools Championships were here were hosted in Kenya last year. Mm-hmm. What's the sporting scene within the schools at the moment? Because we know the sport is growing, and and actually even for the federation, they're finding it interesting to pick even players from outside Nairobi. I know of a young player. He's only now 14 from Bungoma. He's been here and he's already making his presence felt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it's a good initiative, and you could tell by the performance at the Africa Schools that Kenya is really progressing well in terms of junior chess.
Well, and Bernard, let me come to you. And putting it out, the team that's been selected from the qualifiers for the Chess Olympiad, the women's team, we've got Sasha Mongeli, Glenda Madelta, Julie Mutisia, and Cynthia Obondo, plus Joyce Nyerwai. Tell us about this team that made it to the Olympiad.
Yeah, this is actually a team of our strongest ladies. Each lady in that team have a story. Joyce Nyerwai have been the national champion twice. Sasha have just come from the 2018 Olympiad as one of the best in Africa. And she have worked her way to also become the national champion last year. Mm-hmm. When you look at Madelta is a world champion. She won World Amateurs in Greece in October last year. And when you look at the other one, Cynthia is a Mombasa Chess Championship ladies champion. And the story goes down. So to me, we have the best ever team. And if you look at even the discipline in training, I think this is a team that is going to bring Kenya one of the best results.
Let's take a look at the men's team.
Yeah.
You've got Gethenji Hinga, and I'll be coming to you about being in the same team as Gethenji Hinga. You've got Gethenji Hinga, he's there, and then you also have candidate master Bernard Magana. He's in that team. You've got Bernard Nguku, and Martin Joroge, plus Robert.
Yeah. The divergence from the previous teams, you could see the injection of new blood in the team. Robert here is one of them. Martin is also among the youngest. He's barely 24 years. And when you look at the other seniors, they are there because they have maintained their training and, of course, their level of skills. They have remained, relevant. Otherwise, if you evaluate in the chess scene in terms of how the young players are upcoming and the seniors, young players are more promising. And with a lot of incentives that is coming, people are willing to, invest more time in training. And I can assure you, in the next 1 or 2 years, the entire team will be seniors, will be juniors who will be representing Kenya.
Well, interesting enough, and when you talk about Martin Joroge, last year he won a car, and Benjamin Magana actually in 2017. Martin Joroge is a 2021 national champion, and it's quite a story about how this has changed. Robert, let me come to you. You told us at the start, Gethenji introduced chess to your school, and here you are in the same team with him. What's that feeling? Because it's not every day that you would be in the same team, for example, in, say, karate with the national team with this person who introduced you to the sport.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't see it coming. Like when I started chess, I wouldn't have predicted this. So it's a good feeling. Shows that chess has no limits in terms of age. Yeah.
The other thing that we would like to maybe hear from you is how then do you prepare for the high level of competition that's going to be in Russia?
It'll be tough, especially considering I have my final exams in June. but I'll just put in the hours. I think work on the holes that I have here and there in my game, and we'll see.
What are the little holes you have without giving up all of them?
I think it's just my openings and my end games that I need to work on.
Yeah. Okay, so Robert, we'll be coming back to you, and you could give us an outlook for where you would want to be, because you've already told us about the points you have. You'll look at the opportunities that may be there. But let me come to you, Bernard, and this conversation is going to focus a little bit more on the policy. And you brought out, you gave a report for the years 2017 to 2021, and just taking a look at it, one of the things that every sport needs for continuity is junior players. You could, Robert and the likes. What's been the journey over the last 4 years to get more junior players into the sport?
Basically, for a sport to grow, it heavily relies on investment on the young players, because they are the future of the federation. Kenya is currently ranked 123 worldwide out of 188 federations in the world. That's not something we celebrate. And for us, it really pushes us to see how best can we be able to reach that player who is at the grassroots and have a talent. And that's why you have seen a lot of our focus is going to the grassroots. When you look at our national selection process, we start from the grassroots across the country. And you will be shocked when you conduct now the national championship. Unlike in the past where Nairobi used to dominate, because basically they have more resources. Most of the coaches are based in Nairobi. But when now we have supported coaches to go to the ground, we are seeing a lot of potential coming from the grassroots. The best player actually among the junior girls is coming from Kitale. And she may be our best ever female player who will ever achieve the highest result. Looking at her focus, passion, and even the drive. So basically, for us to achieve, we had to invest a lot of resources to reaching the children in the grassroots.
To reach out to the children, then there's two groups of people then you must be in conversation with, given the legal framework that protects children in the country. So we're talking one about their teachers and their parents.
Yeah.
How do you interact with these groups so that they understand what you are doing to as you induct them into the sport?
Number one, we have actually made the teachers to be aware that teaching chess makes their teaching process very easy, because chess is an educational tool. It has a capability to activate part of the brain much earlier, and also instills discipline and many other benefits that comes with education part of the sport. Having looked at even the success story that has come from the schools, they have appreciated. And for us to prepare them, even be at the center of this conversation, we have conducted several trainings. Just for the tournament that we had in December, we trained about 67 teachers from all over the country, just to appreciate and fuse with the teaching methodologies that they use, to ensure that at least they are able also to pass knowledge, because we have really faced a shortage of trainers. And for the parents, many of them have seen the difference. Rather than their kids moving around or having nothing to do, they are able to focus on chess. And of course, those who are excelling, we are supporting them in a big way.
Okay. Well, talking about the youth, the Kenyan National Youth Chess Championships, 2015, 132 players. 2016, an anagram of that, 213. Moving on to 320 in 2017, 962 in 2018, 2019, 1,720 players. What the drive for these young stars? Because you've increased the numbers tenfold in about 4 years.
As I said before, the focus was Nairobi. If you look at those 132, it was basically Nairobi and its outskirts. But for us, we went outside to the grassroots. We went to Kisii. We have people who are championing that. We went to Bungoma. We went to Central. We went to Mombasa. We went to Kitale. So all those regions, we have children playing chess. And we have people who are driving that agenda to ensure that we reach out. So when you advertise national championship, we start from the region and we pick the best who are able to come for national championship. And through that, we have been able to attract a very big number. Some of them we have to turn down because of the venue that can accommodate them. And also lastly, in terms of turn up, we normally try also to even put our venues outside Nairobi. Like if you check in 2018, we did it from Kaimosi. And in 2019, we did it from Central. That is Bishop Ngando and Rudakad, yes. And we have been able to motivate. 2020, were it not COVID, we were doing it from Mombasa. So by moving around, people are feeling the impact of the sport. And of course, after that, we select the best. We are a sport that takes a minimum of 30 students outside. And when they come, the experiences they get, the parents cannot afford to miss out, especially the children to be supported to miss out on that.
What have been your experiences, Robert, from the youth championships and as one of the top juniors, having to move around and interact?
Yeah, it's good. You can see how much chess has grown from that, and the competition is definitely getting stiffer and stiffer.
And for you, your personal experiences?
It's been okay, I'd say, yeah.
All right. Well, just relax and open up and tell the stories. The other one is the focus on the coaches.
Yeah.
That would because it's one sport where you actually have you actually can't bring in somebody from outside of that ecosystem. Someone must be within the playing system for them to become a coach. How are you working on this?
Again, for you as a sport to grow, it's very important you have high-level trainers who can be able to move the children from one level to another. Of course, many of them they are able to train at basic level. But when it comes to high level, you need a specialized training, which is done by our World Federation. And it's very expensive. So what we have done is we have been taking up the cost involved in training the coaches to ensure that those who are willing and participating in training, they have that specialized, because that knowledge is passed to the children. Because our goal is to produce the strongest players, and we can't do that without trainers. And that's why you can see for the last 2 years we have achieved about 80 trainers. Out of 80, about 50 are full-time. They do nothing but just training kids, either in schools or individuals. All the programs that a parent or a school would want to be undertaken, we have coaches who are able to do that.
Getting and for you to have a coach, what's the minimum, for example, point ranking that you'd like them to have to coach at the different levels of chess?
We have levels. We accommodate everyone. When you are introducing chess to a child, you don't need a very high rated. You need just basic, and those are the most that we need, so that they can be able to introduce to the masses. Then now when you move to the middle, now you look at the ratings. Chess ratings start from 1,000 to 2,800, 2,800. Our highest rated is 21, 2,100. So it means, again, even if we want to have the best, we don't have those who can be able to take our players to higher rated that we want. So we normally allow for the national team. at least you are rated 1800 and above, so that you are able to give the highest rated. But going forward, we are also looking forward to engage external coaches who are much higher rated to ensure to help us, our upcoming young players, to move to the next level, because the one we have in Kenya can only train up to a certain level. Yeah.
Arbiters.
Yeah.
This is basically the referees in the sport, to use as a common word.
Yeah.
What's been done to make sure that you have got the right arbiters? Because, for example, I saw, was it last year, there was the Rapids.
Yeah.
And that requires, given that it's a 10-minute game, you need the arbiters to be on high alert, know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you also have got the national championships, which, can take some time. If you have a Kasparov-Karpov scenario, how are you developing them?
Yeah, because of the competition, it has become very important for us to ensure that the quality of the tournaments that we run they match the world standard. And for us to do that, we had to ensure that also our arbiters have exposure. Everyone who have been getting an opportunity to get the titles, we have been sending them out to go and get experience and learn and bring the best practices to Kenya. Looking at the numbers that we have, for example, 1,900 participants, you really need very many arbiters for you to run such a tournament, because a tournament of kids like 100, you need like 10 arbiters, because every kid will be raising the hand. So if you don't have very qualified arbiters, first of all, the parents and coaches will have a lot of disputes if you are not knowledgeable to handle those issues. So that training part is very, very important, and we can only get it by exposing them out and also giving them refresher training more often.
Robert here at the beginning said it's competition that really matters. Let's talk about the exposure that Chess Kenya has given for international competitions, and what the stories have been. Starting, I think, if I go back, Sasha Mongeli, when she won, she was Sports Personality of the Month. I think she was still in university then. You now have got a world champion, and there was also the Africa Schools champion, where there was a perfect 9 score coming in.
Yeah. Well, one thing, my brother, that I can tell you is the hardest job for an administrator of sports in Kenya is actually getting sponsorship. We have talent, but getting sponsorship to take children out has been a very big problem. But I have to thank Dr. Amin Mohammed when she came on board, and the formation of Sports Fund. It has been very helpful, because most of our requests now, as long as you have given a calendar and you are able to convince them the value addition, they are able to support. We have been able to send quite a number of players out. We have also sponsors who have been really helpful. Like in 2018, KCB Bank gave us about 3.6 million to take the team to Georgia. That just says a lot about the trust that sponsors are developing towards chess. And with the support, I'm sure chess is coming to be one of the biggest sports. Because when these kids go to play and you are able to support them, because some of them actually pay for them school fees, just to ensure that we motivate them to move along. It's going to really impact many players.
One interesting one, let's talk about the African Games in 2019, where you had 4 players, initially from a target of 10. What was that criteria, even though the participant total income then was about over 200,000 shillings? That is Africa Schools? All Africa Games, the African Games in 2019.
Yes. We actually targeted more, but you know, Africa Games, chess has not been very consistent in terms of attendance. because it is actually a discretion of the host to include chess in their conduct. So because of the numbers that the host is limited, we only had a few of them who were able to participate. But the impact was very big. I think Kenyan participation was felt. And of course, we had very good feedback from the ministry in terms of our performance.
Now, Robert, let me come to you. There is a format of chess that is known as the Rapids. And there was one, I think last year, the World and the Cadets in August. When you look at that format of chess, what kind of challenge does it give to you rather than the conventional chess where you have to, where you try checkmate your opponent?
I think, okay, Rapid is, it's complicated, yeah, because it's between classical and blitz, yeah, so you don't know. Okay, time management I think is like a big factor. And when I was playing in the World Youth and Cadets for that, it was tough. I think the exposure was good though, because there were lots of international players and they showed me where I needed to work on chess in general.
If from your experience, because I know you are based here in a hotel, so that means you'd have to play at a particular time. What was your experience? Because I mean, you mentioned earlier that playing online really isn't your thing.
Yeah.
But what was it like now having to play online?
I mean, it was okay. I guess I had to, but yeah, it was fine. Although there are a few issues with the internet here and there, but it was good in general.
Well, internet outages, I mean, that does happen. But what were the key things you learned if you're going to play an opponent who's at a different location? And at times there may be blips with the decision making.
I don't think it matters that much, especially because it's online, so it doesn't, yeah.
Given an opportunity now to play another Rapids online, what are some of the things that the opportunities that you would look for?
I think just improving on my tactics and time management, just also having less fear of the opponents. Yeah.
How are you working on that? I know a lot of people talk about the stage fright, because you may see your opponent, look them up, see their ranking points. How do you overcome that?
I think it's just playing really strong guys. Yeah, I think that's the most important factor.
And given where you've reached now, being now full member of the national team, what are you doing back in school to engage more people? Because you leave the school at one point, but at least there is that continuity of the sport at your school.
So I think because of me, a lot of my classmates have been able to pick up chess. So like I'd say about 6 or 7 of them, and even one of them came to the regional championships that was happening this last weekend, and they managed to qualify. So I think I've managed to make a bit of an impact in terms of chess in school, and I think it should still remain after I leave. Yeah.
No, it definitely has to remain. And also now, for those if you're asked to reach out, what are some of the little fears that people need to move away from, get out of them about the sport? It's at times people will say this is for the very clever.
Yeah.
The Nadi and all that.
I think they just need to not think of it as hard. I think once you learn the rules and everything, it's very enjoyable, it's very addictive, and it's really helpful in terms of school.
Well, Robert will be at the Chess Olympiad. He's 17 years old, and he's done that. Let me come back to you, Bernard. Inclusivity and affirmative action for women and people with disability. What is Chess Kenya doing for those two groups of people?
Currently in the society, statistics shows that there is a lot of discrimination in sports towards people living with disability. And of course, women are also not given equal opportunity towards chess development. It's a challenge that we live in it. If you look at the number of players who showed up during national championship, like if you go by the last statistics, you'll get about 150 in the men's section and only 40 in the ladies. But when you come to the junior section, you get women, girls are more than boys. So that disconnect is what we want to address, to see how can we be able to sustain girls and women in chess so that at least they continue supporting. If you look at the national team, it is virtually true that all the strongest ladies who are there are no longer there. So how do we sustain them to ensure that they remain in chess? People living with disability is also a segment that we are very passionate. In 2018, we started their championship specifically, and it has grown. It really makes me happy to see a player who cannot play any other sport, but he enjoys chess. And sometimes I'm called and told, this guy eats chess, wakes up, play chess. He just loves the sport because he doesn't need a lot to do. So we have done 2 championships, and if you look at the numbers, we are very impressed that also they have embraced it. We also introduced chess for the blind. I hope one day you will bring me one so that you can see how they are able to play.
Actually, that would be very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It can always be organized. But just give an insight onto how it works.
Usually we train them to recognize the pieces. Then they are able to internalize. Now when they are playing, they are able to also master the position of the board. By touching, they can be able to tell which position the board is. And once they start now, they'll be making a move, and the opponent announces the move they have made. Then he makes himself on his own braille board. And at the end of the day, they end up playing just like any other person. And for your information, we have a whole team for the blind at the Olympiad. And Kenya usually have never scored against them. That's what inspired me to start one in Kenya. Yeah.
No one has scored against them.
Yes.
Well,
we have a team which usually showed up at the Olympiad. Whenever Kenya is paired, we are beaten 4-0. Yeah, so it tells you their levels, their skill level, if they are able to understand the game.
Now, for you, Robert, tell us how you are able to keep your chess game going together with the school calendars that are in place.
Yeah, so normally I try to finish all my homework and I try and study before I do any chess. So on weekdays I try and do between 1 and 2 hours.
A day?
A day, yeah. Weekends maybe more, like 4 hours, but it's tricky, especially because it's a candidate year for me, so I have to be a little bit more focused on my books.
How are you going to balance, by the way, being a candidate here for you? Are you going to balance between this and preparing for Russia?
It's tough. I'm just trying to manage my time. Like, I think one of the things that I've had to sacrifice, which isn't good, is sleep, but yeah.
Well, but as you say that, I mean, people eat, sleep, and walk chess. But your examinations, that's around May. So, so that means for June, July, what would be the outlook as you prepare for the global event?
So one of the things that I wanted to do, like after my exams, is maybe look for 1 or 2 international events to go for, and like I'd look at because I think I'll be a bit rusty at that point, so like to try and get back form and experience before the Olympiad.
And Wanjala, because now we're headed to the Chess Olympiad, I want you to basically say what's the plan from Chess Kenya for Robert and team?
Yeah, what we have done also, as I said, majority of the players who have qualified are our top players. So if you look at the training, we may not have a real good coach who can be able to take them through. So we are sourcing for an external coach just to complement our local coaches. And of course, with the time, I would want to take them for a higher performance training. And we are in discussion with US Chess Federation so that they can allow us to have 1 or 2 weeks training before the Olympiad. But the main one is just to have a coach who will help them to, prepare for the Olympiad.
Let's talk about finances and something interesting about your prize structure at Chess Kenya. And let me just use the 2021, the national championship. Martin Njoroge won. He got a brand new car. The others were getting prize money. The second place was 100,000, going down to 10th place where there's 7,500. The women's, we've got 100,000 going all the way down to 7,500, and also for the players with disability and the best players at different age grades. Are you able to bring in these funds and make sure that Chess Kenya eventually is financially independent?
In Kenya, being in a leadership, especially for a sport, is one of the biggest tasks. And to me, it's an opportunity to impact life. Most of the participants are the youth. So whenever we are given an opportunity to lead such organization, we are challenged, how can we create an impact? And if you look at our evaluation when we are coming in, the prize fund, the top prize fund was about 20,000 if you go back to 2015.
Yes.
And, it's embarrassing for a national champion, especially when they are talking with other sports, like an athletic, winner who have gone and win a very big prize. You will not expect a chess player to be proud of his position as a national champion when he have been given only 20,000. So we wanted, first of all, to impact the life. If such a player wins, he can start a business like an Uber. He can also, the family, because like what Robert is saying, he invested a lot of time, even sacrificed the sleep. You can imagine people sleeping and you are working on chess. Then you win 20,000. It doesn't really correspond to the reward. So we try as much as possible to make that when Robert is training so hard, investing a lot of time, there is a reward that corresponds to that. Secondly, we have also had challenges where, you try to sell and people don't know much about chess. So we wanted also to let the public know that chess is just like any other sport. When the child is playing, there is also something they can get out of it, not just playing. So it's one aspect of branding. And of course, the last one is to motivate the young players to invest more time. When they are looking at what is happening at a higher level, they are able to work hard also to be like Martin who won the car. So it has 3-pronged reason why we do that.
Something else that I picked up from this report that you gave is that you are able to clear the debt with the global body FIDE.
Yeah.
Just explain to us how that comes into play, because I think it's only one other thing, the National Olympic Committee, I think, who have tried to come clean with the IOC.
Yeah.
And being clean with a global body means that there is development money that comes in. How has that worked?
Yeah, what happens is FIDE, we have 3 applications at World Federation as a member. The first one is you have to subscribe every year a membership fee of about 360 euros. And also, whenever you have a tournament to be rated, they also charge a fee. And Kenya is hosting so many because of the activities that we are having. Then the last part is the titles. When a player gets a title, or you have a training, like 70 of them at once that we had last time, each of them is charged about 100 euros. So at the end of the day, you get about $7,500. That's equivalent to
750 million shillings.
Thousand.
So I'm 750,000, yes, close to a million.
Yes. So that money is put in our account, and when you reach a certain level, the World Federation can suspend you from participating. And what happened before COVID, we had accumulated the debt because of very many training we were having, and they had actually threatened to suspend our federation from participating or rating our events. So what we did is from our savings and a few sponsors that were able to come on board, we were able to prioritize and clear the debt. Yeah.
Now, let me come to you, talking about titles. Just tell us about your progression from when you started to the title you have, the points that you may need now to get to the different levels. We can use an example of Sasha. She's a world feeder master. So you could tell us about that progression.
Yeah, so currently I don't have a title yet, and because FIDE changed the regulations, so now I think you have to be a minimum of 2,000 to get candidate master, 2,100 for FIDE master, and so on. So right now I'd be what you say a candidate master elect. So I have the norm for the title, but I still haven't reached 2,000 yet. Yeah. So I think right now I need some 200 or so rating points, and that's when I'll be given the title.
Yeah, just tell us how these rating points come about.
I think it's just playing rated games. I think if you want to increase your rating, you have to play guys who are like have a higher rating than you. And for me, it's easier as a junior because I have something called a K factor of 40. So like I can gain a maximum of 40 points from a game.
So that means that if you're going to pick the points, you need how many? 5 great ones.
Yeah, it depends on the opponent's rating. If he is much higher rated, like we normally have a K factor. When you win, you are given a certain points. If you have played for a long time, or you are above 20 years, you are given a K of 20. But if you are a junior, or you have few rated games that you have played, you are given a K of 40. So it means if you win to a very strong player, you are given about 38 to 40 points. But if you are a senior player, you have played for long, you are given about 18. So what he is saying is you can play in a tournament. Every player you win, you are given some points. Like in the last phase, he was able to amass, was it 134?
Yeah,
134 points.
Yes, points.
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah, that's why he's now moving from 16 to 18. So even getting to 2,000 is quite breakfast for him with his hard work.
From the rest of the teammates, people who've been to, for example, the team that was in Georgia in 2018, what are the stories they've told you about the Olympiad and preparing for it?
Okay, I think it's just tough because I think normally the first round is like the hardest, yeah, because Kenya gets paired from what I've seen against like the top countries. So I think it'll be a good experience for me to grasp up now. Yeah.
Let me just ask from somebody like Hinga and all that. What do they tell you that you need to do such that you're calm or steady as you play at that level?
I think it's just like learn from the experience. I think is the most important thing, and just be prepared. Yeah.
All right. Now, from the 2018 experience, what is it that Chess Kenya have learned that needs to be constantly done to raise the level of the game?
Number one, you need to prepare the players quite early. And that's why you can see, ordinarily we normally do the qualifiers in March towards April. But this time we did it in January. It was very strategic to ensure that Robert and his colleagues have more time to be prepared. Because what we realized last time, most of the players were coming, while they are very rusty, they have not prepared very well. Secondly, we also need to have a serious coach who can be able to push the players to the limit, so that at least when they are going there, at least they know the opposition that they are likely to face. Yeah, and of course the last one is motivation. You have to come up with programs and resources that is able to make them motivated. If someone, for example, is doing other course, he is able to prioritize chess as opposed to other activities. Yeah.
Now, Robert, if I was to talk about some of the tough matches you played over the years, or interesting matches that you felt that this wasn't going to be coming from me, but it's eventually you won. You could give us a series of them.
So one would be earlier last year when I faced Joseph Methu, who was the highest rated player in Kenya at the time. So I didn't really expect to win, but I think it was I got the win eventually, and I was happy with that one. And there was Githinji Hinga and Jackson in the final phase qualifiers as well. Yeah.
Those are two. Give us more.
Also, I think in the national championships last year, when I managed to beat Ben Guku in the last round, I think that was another one. It was, yeah.
So as you look forward, where would you see yourself going as a chess player? Would you like to? I know you'd like to pursue an academic degree or something. Would you think of going professional as a chess player?
I think it's really tough because I started late, so I'm a bit behind as compared to my peers who want to pursue it professionally. So my target is I want to try and become a grandmaster, but it will take some time, so probably like 6-7 years, maybe even 10, depending on it depends on the amount of time I have and the sponsorship I'm able to get, because it takes a lot of time and effort to go for these international events. And maybe an international master in 4 years or so.
Well, there you've had it. Well, Robert, he said his target's 4 years from now when he's 21, or just when he's breaking past what you described as a junior level.
Yeah.
Then when your K factor will have been cut by half, you'd like to be up there.
Yeah.
Now, the other one is the elections that were held yesterday. That was an overwhelming win. I don't want to mention which former Russian states gets where the kind of results that come in. So your opponent, as a team, they got 3 votes. Your team got 13 votes. You got 109. 3 were spoiled. What's the vision for Chess Kenya for another 4 years? Because you've put up a report here, and you've got now to make things grow in the sport.
Yeah. First of all, I want to commend my opponent, Madame Judy, for 3 reasons. Number one, she knew the kind of opposition that she will face, and yet she was brave enough to come out and compete. Number two, as a lady, most of the ladies shy away from this leadership, and she rose up to occasion to challenge a very formidable team. And lastly, when you look at the previous trends, many of the elections, people are going in unopposed whenever we have a team. When you see now we have a very competitive election, then it also shows that the sport is growing. That's why I'm very, very proud of what happened yesterday. The other part is usually election in many of the federations, not just chess. It's marred with violence, sometimes people exchanging. But when you follow the online link that we shared, you could see maturity and discussions that were very, very good for chess. And to me, it was a win for chess and for this nation where we want to go.
All right.
Yeah.
Those are the congratulations to your opponent.
Yeah.
What next? Where are you? You're raising the stakes when it comes to the prize fund at the national championships. You've expanded to the schools. You know that the pandemic has stopped school games for 2 years running now.
Yeah.
So you can have competitions in schools as you may wish. What next?
Where I have been brought up in a corporate world, I have been taught whenever you are given an opportunity, you have to try all you can to impact their lives. So basically, the journey of transformation will continue, and I'm really looking forward that partners will come on board to use chess to transform the youth's life, because that's where the biggest problem is. We have those who have finished the schools, they are not able to get the job, but chess is creating the job. They are able to feed their families, they are able to do chess full-time and feed their families. Some of them are actually the sole breadwinners. So it's not just a chess, it's a movement actually that is giving people opportunity. And I have to create that environment to ensure that that transformation continues.
Yeah.
Secondly, we also want to increase feasibility, and you will be seeing a lot of transmission of all of our activities. Currently, we are not able because we don't have the boards. But that's a phase that I'm really going to concentrate on. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give you the final word, Robert. Teenagers, young people, I won't tell you what nitaenda kwe. I want you to tell them maybe nitaenda kushinda. It's just to tell them, get the right mindset that they can actually get into chess and excel and actually even offer you competition in future.
Yeah, I think the main components, or like if you really want to succeed in chess, it's hard work. There's no shortcuts. So I think if you just work hard, you have the correct mindset, and you enjoy the sport, you can succeed in it.
Thank you very much. Robert Mcligeyo, he is qualified for the Chess Olympiad. He's going to be the youngest member of Team Kenya. They will be traveling to Russia, and that is at the end of July and going into the first week of August, together with 4 other men and 5 women who will be representing the country. And also we had Bernard Wanjala. He's the president of Chess Kenya, re-elected yesterday, and we speaking about his team, which has John Mukabi, Gilbert Wandera, Rhoda Itole, Andrew Willie, Terence Chazima, Aurelia Chumo, and Ivini Magoiga. That's your team.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, and we wish them all the best. And you've triggered my curiosity.
Yeah.
Chess for the blind.
Yes.
That is something that we'd like to have a conversation about.
Yeah.
So we'll get in touch.
Thank you.
And we'll do it. And we'll do that. Chess for the blind. We really would like to see that happen.
Yeah. Thank
you very much, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you.
We've been having a conversation about chess with Bernard Wanjala, who's the president of Chess Kenya, and Robert Mcligeyo, who is going to the Olympiad. We shall be taking a little break, and when we come back, what about a competition where people are not talking about who's at the top of the table, but rather who's at the bottom of the table? Those are conversations that normally don't exist in this country. We'll be getting to that with Michael Kwambo at the end of this breather.